Hey Stampers, Gaynor again, and I'm coming back with a little funky fun fold card. It's this. It looks absolutely adorable, and then when you open it, it stands up like this. So you're looking at two different lots of design. It's better when it's standing up on a shelf, but the card is 5 by 5 3/4 opened out, but when you close it, it's 4 1/4 by 5 3/4, so it fits inside a normal size envelope. I could have done it a little bit smaller for the UK, but you're just using the piece of cardstock, so I can still get a mat off the other one because I do them normally at 3 7/8. These are scraps out of my bin. If you look on this, I even joined 3 sheets of cardstock up, so look, so I could just get this project done. So yeah, you can see there where I've joined up cardstock. There's another join there. So I just joined 3 pieces, and nobody can tell unless I point it out, but that's what the card looks like when it's standing on a shelf. How cute is that? You get to see two different lots. The colour and contour is still in the catalogue, and I love this flower, and the little die cut pieces that are on the inside. I forgot all about these. You've got this wavy stitched edge. We're going to be using the beautiful flower. We're going to be using this die, and what I did for the centre, I used a piece of white, and then I used a piece of designer series paper just so I got the blank side to go on the inside, and it all fits in there lovely because it does cut slits, it just doesn't cut it all the way around. So I just layered and I popped this on dimensionals. But how cute is that card? So it lays flat. You could do it 5 1/2 for the Americans, by 4 1/4 be perfect. I'm doing mine 5 3/4. I normally do 5 7/8, but you know, by the time you fart around with all the 8s here and there and everywhere. So I've got my stamps out. I had a right boo-boo here, and I just fussy cut that out because there's no die for that one. I've got all the measurements you will need. If you are American, just take yours down to 5 1/2 and then do these 5 1/4. So instead of 5 3/4, do 5 1/4, and then these will be 5 1/2. But you can still get this same card by using 1 piece of cardstock. I've got myself some scrap for stamping on. Put that to one side. I'm going to grab some designer series paper that I forgot to pull out for my sentiment, and I'm just going to use some of these scraps. So is that big enough for there? Ooh, not quite. What's on the other side? The bunny rabbits. Oh, there you are. Oh, that's going to be perfect, so I'll keep that piece out. So what I do with my scraps, I shove them all together. Got myself a little peg. Otherwise I'll end up with everything floating around inside here, and I'll end up going through it, binning everything and not being able to use it. But with this way, I can do little scraps cards. I can keep all my larger sheets. That tucks away in the bottom, and instead of going through everything, I can just pull it out, go through what I've got, peg it back up, put it back in my little folder. Or you could use a separate little folder, but then you still going through them. So all I did with this as well, I'm just going to lay that on top. I grabbed myself a little pencil and just a light drawing, and then I'm just going to simply cut that out on the trimmer. And I'm going to stick to the line perfectly, because the white then, when I layer it on the white, if I layer it on the white, will give me a cute little white border like on this one. I backed it on white cardstock and made sure it overlapped just a tiny fraction. But this is how I did it. And I'm just gonna Make sure I got it bang on. That's it. I think that works out about 1 1/4 inch gap. Maybe just over. So there's my little piece to stamp on. I'm not going to mess around with those few bits. This should be slightly bit, oh look at that, perfect. So I can layer that up on there once I've stamped, and with my pencil, look at this, I love this work, this new top I've got. It's literally, it just cleans my rubbers up because it's cushion lino. I can just watch that dirt now go across my desk, and it's back to white. Just make sure I've got all those little bits off. Clean my pencil, look, perfect. So let's do the stamping now actually, because I want it to dry, because I'm using VersaFine, and it says you're absolutely amazing. So it's so cute. But we will be cutting this out in, I'm using Misty Moonlight, Night and Navy, and what's it called, Bomb Eye Blue, so I can see right through. Oh, perfect. That's stamped, lovely. But I'll probably use, I've got a clean cloth. Oh. I'll probably use my Memento ink on the others, because I might do some shading. I might not. So what we're going to do is going to just glue this piece. We'll back this on this white. So I'm coming into the bottom corner. I only need a little white touch. It's only for an accent. Get off the excess glue with my, why does that, why? That's got it. And again, I'm just going to trim that off. You might think it's a bit of a pain, but I like it, and I'm only giving myself a small border. Oh, look at that, cute. And I've still got all that to write another message on. So this is going to be cut out of here. So I basically only need a little, I want to use my mini machine, so let's get that on there. Perfect amount without having too much waste. That can go back in my scraps bin. I'll leave that on there for later. We're going to do some more. Oh, I do need another piece. So I've got one for the inside, which is 5 3/4 by 2 3/8, and I'm just, once I stamp, let me stamp. I'm going to do the stamping first because that way it dries. So let's pop this away. I'm going to use my Memento, and I've got to keep an eye on my battery. Some people say, why can't you just swap your battery? Because I like to wear them down, because I'm going to turn that actually and see if I can get more out of it. Perfect. And I'm just going to have this bottom section just on the inside of my card, just for a little bit of decoration. It is the same, but it's not, you know what I mean, because it's not all popped in the same place. And then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to find another little scrap. There we go. And I might not make a boo-boo on this one, but I might, so I'm just going to stamp them there, and I'll fussy cut them out. We might need them, we might not. We might just use them because I've used it on the other card. We'll see. So stamping's done. We'll get to scoring in a minute and decorating. These are being cut out. So I need this and this and this and this. And we'll get our die machine out in a bit. So that's done. That's done. That's done. Let's pop them there out the way. They can go there to be cut. Now I've shown you all the pieces. So if you pause, you've got 1 at 8, and if you're American, do it by 5.5. Then you'll need 1 at 4 1/4 by 5.5 if you're American. If not, 5 7/8, and then 1 at 3 1/2 and 5.5 if you're American. But if not, it's 3 1/2 by 5 7/8. And then your layers, you're going to need 2 at 1 1/8 by 5 1/4. You'll need yours if you're American, and then you're going to need 2 at. Am I going to need 2? Yeah, 3/4 of an inch by 5 3/4, 5 1/4 if you're American. You're going to need 1 at 1 3/8 by 5 3/4 or 5 1/4, and then 1 at 3 3/8 by 5 3/4 or 5 1/4. But if you don't want to use DSP, there we go, battery's gone. Let's get that swapped. I spotted it out the corner of my eye. My eye. So let's get that sorted until that comes back on. So if you don't want to use DSP, use these as basic white, whisper white, and then just stamp images, and then you'll just have enough. I'm going to use DSP. So this piece is going to be left whole because this is going to be the back of our card. So that is that size. So I'm using Misty Moonlight. I'm going to use Misty Moonlight on the top to compensate for the back with this piece. And then for our mechanism on the inside, I'm going to use the Balmy Blue. And these are so simple. You're going to score this at 1 1/2 and 2 3/4. Flip it around and repeat, and that's it. 1 1/2, 2 3/4, and we're done. If you wanted to score both ways, you're more than welcome to do so, because one's going to go one way and the other one's going to go the other. So let's just score them both ways. But that's it. That's how simple this card is, but it looks really, really good. So fold your first line, make sure it's level with your cardstock on the bottom here, not overhanging, and then pull this one back, and then do the same with this one. Fold this across, make sure it's even top and bottom, and then fold this one back. And why have I got a gap? Oh, strange. Maybe I think I've missed a bit on that side, have I? Oh, let's have a look. Gaynor made a boo-boo. No, 1 1/2, that's right. Ah, do you know what I've done? I haven't cut my cardstock down to 8. Let's check. I'm not going to fuss with this one. I just cut a cardstock base off because to me it's just at one card base. So there we go. No, I haven't cut. So there's that. I needed to cut that off. I thought then it wouldn't meet in the middle. Gaynor made a boo-boo. So I'm going to rescore. And don't worry about that. I've not really gone mental. And this piece will get covered up anyway. So 1 1/2 and 2 3/4. So if I fold my 2 3/4 up, you're not going to see this section. And then pull back this one. I'm gonna have this cardstock over mine anyway, this piece. So you're not gonna see it anyway. But that side's right. There's a good save in it. And then look, they more or less meet in the centre. So it's like a mini gatefold card. So let's pop that to one side for a minute. So we're gonna literally glue that on there in the middle. But first of all, we've got our time, and now I've pulled this from that designer series paper I had all those years ago. I think it was woven heirloom, and I loved it so much I had a second lot of paper just so I could keep the butterflies. So you want 2 at 3/4 of an inch, and if you're American, 5.5. If you're English and you're doing the same sizes as me, 5 3/4, because this is 4 1/4 by 5 7/8, so you're gonna have the tiniest of borders. But how cute! How cute are those? And now butterflies. It's got a bit of excuse me. It's got a bit of I think it's Sahara sand. But who's gonna really take notice that there's a little bit of brown on there? And then again, take this right to the edge. It's the tiniest little borders all round. Perfect. Isn't that sweet? Now we've got a guide. So we're going to glue this section. And then that is going to go in the centre of our piece there. So we're going to make sure it fits all the way along there. But we're going to do a little bit of decorating in here. Because our panel will be going over this side, and you will have a little bit of overhang on either side. Let me just show you. You will put this piece in the centre, so you got about 1/8 of an inch either side, maybe 1/4 of an inch either side, and then this will become your flap. So you don't need paper there, but you're going to put paper here, here and here, and these are my strips. So these are for my inside pieces. These are 1 1/8 by 5 3/4. 5 1/4 if you're American. Unless you want to make the same size card as moi. Look at that. And this has got that beautiful pattern, which is what I'm using on the front. Cute, cute, cute. So I've kept those dots because it's from the same piece of paper. I just cut my 5 3/4 and then just turned them around so the spots are on the outside. I should have left them on the inside really, because you're not going to see it with this one. Silly sausage. And then I've got these are 1 3/8. They're just going to fit in there. I'm going to add those. Oh, and you only need 1 of these, by the way. I've cut 2 again. I've done it again. I've cut them twice. But you're not going to, no point putting 1 on there if this panel is going to go over there. So just 1 of these. 1 3/8. I think I did write that down actually. Yeah, look, 1 3/8. It was the 2 of the others I had. Gaynor's following patterns, thinking it's all in 2s, because we normally do symmetrical cards, don't we? So I'm making sure my birdies are going the right way. I love the contrast to this paper. It's absolutely beautiful. So this is now gonna fold down, and like I'm saying, we're gonna attach this, but we're only gonna glue one side. So this is our designer series paper for this piece of cardstock, and whoa, that's a tiny little border. I might just take another little tiny slither off that. It looks a little bit too long. So 5 3/4. I'm just going to take the tiniest slither, make sure it's level. Yeah, that's tiny, but look at that tiny little minute thing I just took off. And you watch the difference it makes now. Perfect. How perfect. We could keep the lines because we're going the opposite way. but I want to make sure. I mean, this is non-directional paper, so you can have it going whichever way around you want. Oh, lovely. Getting rid of the excess glue, because I don't want that sticking on anything. And then it's up to you which way up you want it as well, because it's non-directional. But this piece is the one we stamped, and we want this so we can write our message on the inside as well. This is 2 3/8, and if you're American, do 5 1/4, or you could do it 5 3/8 if you want really small borders like me. Look at that, beautiful. And if you wanted to, you could grab, because I've not glued anything down yet, you could grab your ink spot. Oh, I've got the blends, but you could take your blending tool even. Just go a tiny little dot, because it's you can't see the back of the paper anyway, but you can just add some definition on your petals. Tiny little dot, and add a bit more interest on the inside as well. See, I've got a little bit of ink up the side of my tool. And that's just gonna pull that centre in. Absolutely gorgeous. I might do it on the front actually, so let's leave that out a sec. Why did I get the blue out? I think I got the blue out. Because, yeah, let's just pop these to one side. That's why I got... Look at this. I've got ink all over my ink pad. No, it's not. Oh, there you go. Oh. So, again, just dipping. And I'm just doing it for, like, a watercolour effect. And I'm not even filling in. Just going to pick up this bit of ink that's on the side there. Just going to give it a little flick. I mean, nothing major. I'm not even colouring. I'm just swooshing colour. Just not even following any guidelines. But isn't that sweet? I'm going to go dark. And then I could turn the pen round and then just pull those colours in together. How gorgeous is that? Then we're going to do some stamping. I love these blend tools because whatever colour's on there, it just comes out straight away and you can start painting a different colour. But I'm sticking with the blues. So, right, are we going to glue this down? Yeah, let's glue this section down while my ink is open. So I'm going to close these. And we're just going to put ink on here, ink glue even. Try not to go over because otherwise you'll stick your flaps down. And then I'm going to try, where that is, you're going to try your best to keep that in exactly the centre. Come to the end and then just come up the top and make sure you've got them standing just on the inside. And then we got that beautiful sweet act. Isn't that pretty? You could stamp again in there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add glue just on this panel. Don't go over the edge like Gaynor just did. Don't get any on the second panel. And then this, decide which way up you want it. Just going to close those down, and you're going to put this in the middle as well, so about 1/4 inch either side. So keeping it level at the bottom again, press that down, fetch that up, making sure it's all coming up, and then we've got that beautiful, and it stands, like I'm saying, on the counter or on somebody's mantelpiece, as we call it here, and you will see that the two-tone papers come together. Sorry, I was out of view, naughty girl. So let's get our my little die machine in. Let's get these popped away. I can use my mini, so I'm just going to run this. Do you know, you don't realise how many shapes you've got until you actually go through your stamp sets as well, because I've got quite a few dies that will cut things out in my die box. Look how cute that is. And because that now is on designer series paper and it's got a little white border, it just makes that pop, and I love that. So we're going to pop dimensionals on here, and then we're going to pop dimensionals on there. So that's that piece. And look, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, you've got 5. You've got these beautiful edges, you've got the stitching, love it. And then I'm going to run my, I wonder where that bit was. I'm going to pop this down. I'm going to turn it over, because you should turn your stamps and dies plates every time you use them. And then I'm going to pop this. And what I find is you don't need, once you put your plate down gently, once you push it in and start turning, and keep your fingers on it until it goes under the rollers. And there we go. And look, it's cut that beautiful shape out, and that's the only bit you get. So that's our die cutting, and it cuts out beautiful. And if I get my scissors, and I've got that to do another sentiment. If you want to be really fussy, I'm not going to be really fussy. Let's pop that die away. Do you know, if I went through all my old stamp sets and see how many die sets I've got, I'd be well shocked. So I am going to cut these out, and I'm just cutting them out together, not as individuals. I'm going to just let my snits do the cutting while I do the turning. Getting a little bit better at this fussy cutting. Let's just cut that off. I mean, if you've got a small sentiment, I could make a little sentiment out of that. I know I'm tight, but you know, when times are hard, you would appreciate a small piece like that. So I'm just going to snip round, try and get myself a little rounded edge. Perfect. How cute are those? So dimensionals, let's get this together now. Let's get some dimensionals on here. Got a little punch. I'm going to add one there and one there. And we're just going to add this on our night of navy. It just pulls all those wonderful colours in and layers them up. Oh, don't go down there now, Gaynor. Don't. That's it, not yet. That's it. Pull it straight. That's better. That's got it. So So I'm going to have a large dimensional and a small dimensional on here. And backing's off ready. I'm going to get a couple of large ones. And I'm just going to cut myself. I've got a little one there. I'm just going to move that out of the way. And cut myself some tiny little strips. So I've got some on the stem. Ooh, that's tiny. And another one then for the leaf. Tiny, tiny, tiny. I'm going to leave that out because I want some dimensionals on that. And again, I'm just going to do... Oh, I glued the other one down. But if I'm going to give this one up, I'm going to give it by hand. Because it can be... It's not mega bulky, but you might need a little extra postage. So let's get these. Let's get our label. Because we can determine once our label is on where we're going to put. I'll lay this down. I love this paper. I think it's so cute. So you could go at an angle. I'm going to put this at an angle even, because there's plenty of space. I'm going to have my beautiful, there you go, beautiful flower, which doesn't want to stick. And I'm just having it so the tip of my flower is touching my, like I did with this one. I just glued the tip of my flower so it all looks cohesive. Just put a little tiny dot on there. Put my little, and then we can come in. I'm just going to set them on an angle. That is just so sweet. Now I use black gems from a card kit on this one. Got all my toppings. Well, I found these, which are from the Happiness Blooms, and they had either Night and Navy or Misty Moonlight. So I'm going to use the Misty Moonlight. So go through your stash. Look at all these little gorgeous colours I've got. So I'm going to use these ones. I do like this card. So I'm going to use a large one. I used quite a few on this. I think I used about 6. So let's put our You Are Amazing there. I'm going to pop one up there. I'm going to have one here. So there's 3. I'm going to put one right there in the centre of that flower. 4. Right in the centre of that flower there. 5 and one more. I'm just going to have one in the centre of that. Well, I'm going to do it on the centre of that flower there. So how sweet are they? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's go one more, make it odd. Let's put the 2 down there. Perfect. But look how cute. You've got, I know these are pineapple punch, but you could use those for yellow. You've got those that were, I'm not sure what that one was. You could use them for the sweet sorbet, I suppose. Let me just have a look. What was it? It's not Poppy Parade. Lovely Lipstick. That's what it was. So they were Lovely Lipstick, Pale Papaya and Call Me Clover. But I would use them for any green, any peach, any red, any blue and any yellow. I'm not going to waste them. We're spending up on these little gems, so perfect they are. Though, if you want to add a nice little gem on the inside, See, it tucks right under as well, so you can open up to write your message. And then it flops shut to fit inside a normal size envelope. Let me get a normal size envelope. Just to show. Whoa, Gaynor's got a stretch. So this is our A2 envelopes, we call them. And that will fit in there beautiful. Let's pull it out to show you. So girls in the UK, you can get a 4 1/4 card. Only just, but you'll get it in. A 4 1/4 card by 5 3/4. In fact, you could go to 5 7/8, even maybe 6 inches, and still get a 4 1/4 by 6 inch card in your cardstock. But there we have it. I like the gold, and I like the peachy colour gold on there. I like the plain black. I'm also loving these 2 patterns on here, because these is when you stand it up, like I'm saying, on display, these are the 2 patterns you will see. I don't think that gets lost in there. I think it would even look nice with a darker pattern. But there we go. These are my, I don't even know what you call them. What have I called them? A pull-out panel card. There we go. Nice pull-out panel card. So even I can get this one in there, which is beautiful, and then I can get a fresh envelope for that one after I've taken a photograph. Method to me madness. And it does fit in a cello bag as well. So folds down to go in an ornament envelope, and then opens out for an extended 5 by 5 3/4 card. Absolutely beautiful. So there we go. There's my card for this evening. Hope you've enjoyed. Love a thumbs up and a share. That'd be amazing. Gotta get this light right. But take care. See you soon, and God bless. Bye.